I can see the comments on the side.
Hi everyone, welcome to our first Facebook Live video of 2018. My name's Alan and I work in the marketing team for TEFL Org UK, and today we are joined by i2Visa. Hi guys.
Hello.
Hello.
So do you want to give us a small introduction into who you are and a little bit about i2Visa?
Okay. My name is Joey, director of the i2Visa. i2Visa set up the company looking after help the local people to get a Chinese visa. And mainly we do Chinese visa, all different type of visa, for up to 5 years now. Yeah, okay. And then running through the 4 or 5 years, yeah, the company is getting, the team, yeah, is getting bigger and bigger, more, not only for the Chinese visa applications, yeah, and also we doing like notarization, legalization for the young graduates to go to China to work, to teach English and so on. Yeah, okay.
And,
Perfect.
my name is Abby, and I'm working with Joey at i2Visa based here in Edinburgh. So that's just a small introduction of the company.
Okay, great. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through why we chose to work with i2Visa on this Facebook Live video. One of the main reasons is we get a lot of students asking once they've done their TEFL training, what do I need to do to get my visa for working in China? What's the process? How many documents do I need to supply? How much does it cost? Who do I go to? So we selected i2Visa as that's what they do. They do everything for you. So they'll take you through the whole process and get it all sorted. So you've got one less thing to worry about. Another reason is, I don't know if you've been reading our blog, we've worked with i2Visa in the past, so we've covered quite a few different topics. The latest blog post that we've got is Moving to China, the Essential Checklist. And in November, December last year, we also published Working in China, What You Need to Know. So if you do have any specific topics or questions that you'd like us to answer, just comment in the comment section below. Or if you're watching the recap of this video, you can still leave a comment and we'll get back to you with an answer either by email or we'll comment in the section below as well. So one of the first questions that we've got today is, there's so many different visas that you can apply for. Which is the one that you need to use or apply for if you're going to teach English abroad, if you're going to teach English in China? What visa do you need to apply for first?
Okay, so the very quick answer to that question is that you should be applying for a work visa, which is the Z visa. So all of the visas have their own sort of letter associated with them. And it is a little bit confusing at first, but essentially it's the work visa you should be applying for.
Great. So we've got that covered. It's your Z visa, your working visa. And what documents do you need to supply when you're applying for a visa, for a Z working visa?
Okay, so if you were sending the documents, for example, to i2Visa to apply, then you would be sending your passport along with a photocopy of the page of your photograph within the passport. You need a passport photograph, passport style photograph, and then you need to have your work permit. So that's one of the most important documents. So basically, first of all, you need to apply for the job. So if you're going to teach in China, you need to contact the company and they should be able to apply for a work permit for you within China. And then they'll be able to send that to you. So that's one of the documents you need to send to apply for your visa. So that needs to be done first. And then there's an application form which going through i2Visa, it's all on the website. There's an application and declaration form to be filled in. And once you put all those documents together, send them off, and i2Visa does the rest.
Great. So yeah, you handle everything. Once you've submitted all the documents, you just sit back and wait for your visa to come. Do you get it sent in the post?
So the key document here, the key document is work permit. The key document is a work permit for Chinese work visa application, which is called Z visa. Yeah, the work permit here with the barcode on the right hand side corners. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, along with the basic documents like a passport photo, application form, declaration form, stuff like that. Yeah.
And then, as you were saying, normally after you've sent the documents, you send them by post, and then we will go through the process of applying. As we're able to do all that in Edinburgh from the office. If there are any problems with the application, if the visa centre requires any more documents or any more information, then we would just contact you directly to ask for that information. But generally, there are no problems, and yeah, we'll just go through the process and then send the visa back once it has been, once we have received it from the visa centre. So normally we don't have a huge number of problems with this specific visa type.
Okay, great. And sort of jumping ahead, I know that we've got a few questions down, but in terms of timescale and length of the process, how long on average from sending in the documents and sending them to you would you expect to get your visa back?
Yeah, so it depends on, the normal timescale is 5 working days that we would pay people. Of course, if you are in a hurry and you're willing to pay more for the service, then we have fast stream express or emergency services, which can be from 4 working days to 48 hours, or in very rare cases 28 hours. But generally people would know quite far in advance, and they would just apply for the 5-day service. So if you were to submit the documents on the Monday morning, it's from the time that we get the documents into our office, and then it's 5 days after that.
Okay, great. So relatively
up to 5.
Yeah, so a relatively quick process. So once you've got your work permit, your invitation letter from your school that you're going to be working with, once you've got that and then send it to you, it's in a matter of a couple of weeks that you should have the application done and then the visa back in your hands so you can travel over with it.
Yeah, so what's important to remember is that sometimes you can get the invitation letter from the company or the school you're working for, and it's actually that company's responsibility in China to apply for the work permit. This is it's a little bit different. This is what's different about the working visa. So you should only send the documents to i2Visa once you have this work permit. The kind of invitation letter is a separate document that is not, So you have to have the work permit that the school would apply for you, and then we would do the rest after you have received that.
Okay, so so the invitation letter and the work permit are 2 separate and 2 different document types. Okay, cool, I didn't know that, but that's good to know. And in terms of legalizing documents, that's another term that we get people confused with. So a lot of people get confused by whether it has to be legalized, that sort of thing. So can you take us through what legalizing the documents are as well?
Yeah, okay, so basically there are certain documents that need to go through this, as you say, legalization process in order for you to be able to work in China. Usually these documents include university degree certificate, especially if you're going to teach English. Then there's police check documents, for example, Disclosure Scotland or depending on which country you're in, and your TEFL certificate as well, which is also a document. So there are three stages that this 3 stages to the legalization process, which i2Visa also can take care of either completely, or if you've already managed to go through one stage yourself, we can provide sort of part service. So first of all, the documents need to be notarized, which is basically getting a seal of approval from a solicitor. We'll then send them to the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, FCO, to be legalized, so another stamp, and then finally to the Chinese General Consulate, which is in Edinburgh, and they authenticate the documents. So there's these 3 stages. Sometimes people are able to do the first 2 stages themselves, in which case they can send those documents to us once they've done that, and we will do the 3rd stage. Because the Chinese General Consulate is in Edinburgh, then it kind of needs to go through us in order to be able to do that, or it's a lot easier that way. But yeah, so those are the 3 main stages, and we are able to provide that service as well.
Yeah, we can do notarizing, legalization, and authentications. Yeah, so we call that full service, which is called full service. If the candidates can send all the documents like a degree, non-criminal record certificate check, like a police check or DBS or disclosure stolen, and TEFL certificate is sent to us, we can do full service for them. Or if they done first part or second part, which is notarization or legalization done by the FCO, we also can do the 3rd part for them, where we call that part service. Yeah.
Great. And in terms of the documents that you need to supply, so for example, for legalizing, you mentioned the university degree certificate, your police check certificate, like a Disclosure Scotland, and your TEFL certificate. Can these be, do these have to be the original copies, or can these just be a scanned copy? What type's best?
So those need to be the original documents. And you will of course receive your original documents back unharmed. What they tend to do is they will photocopy the documents at whatever stage, and they put the seal or stamp of approval on the photocopies, but it needs to be the original documents that are provided.
Yeah, it's required by the former Commonwealth Office anyway. Yeah.
Okay, great. And are there any sort of differences in the visa application process for different cities or different regions in China in terms of requirements or the paperwork that they need? So for example, if I was going to teach in Beijing or Shanghai, would there be differences in the application process or what they need?
So at the initial stage of the application process, so applying to us or through us, there are no differences. So the only difference applies after you have arrived in China, and that we don't actually deal with at all, because at that stage you've already received your initial visa. So the difference is that if you're staying in China for a period of longer than 6 months, then you need to apply for what's called a residence permit. And so that's the only thing, and that depends what city you're in. You need to look at what city you're in to see what the requirements are. But yeah, you don't really need to worry about that until after you've arrived in China, and especially if you are working for a school or a company, then they normally take you through that once you've arrived. Or if you're staying for less than 6 months, then it doesn't matter at all. It's just a residence permit you need to get if you're going to be staying for a longer period of time. But yeah, the initial stage, it's you just fill in the same forms, provide the same documents, send them off, and it doesn't matter which city or region or province you're going to.
Okay, that's great. And we've actually got a question through from Rose Patrick, and she's asking, is legalizing and authenticating the same?
So legalization is the name, like the overall name for the whole process, if you like.
Okay.
You can tell she might be a bit confused because there are 3 different stages to the whole legalization process. One of those stages, the second stage, is actually called legalizing. So that's why it's maybe a bit confusing. So the 3 stages are notarizing, legalizing, and authenticating. The second stage, legalizing, is with the FCO, the Foreign and Commonwealth Office. So yeah, they are 2 different things, but within the umbrella term of legalization, if that makes sense.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah.
Commonwealth, in the Foreign Commonwealth Office, official website, they say the legalizing documents. So in the second part, step 2, so we specifically we put legalization, for the document done by FCO. But in Chinese, the legalization form, they say legalization form. But if you get like a China authentication, the blue sticker. The blue sticker you get like the document being authenticated. So in their official, the blue sticker backside say China authentication.
Okay.
Yeah, we can show you the image. Yes.
Perfect. But yeah, I think that's all of our questions for today. So yeah, we've given you a quick run through of what it's like to apply for a visa, and also if you need to get your documents legalized, how you do that as well. What we're going to be doing is we're going to stick around for the next half hour. So if you've got any other questions that you'd like to ask us, just pop them in the comments section below, and we'll get back in touch with you either in the comments section, or we'll send you a private message and email with some further information, links to either our websites if it's information about teaching in China and positions, or if it's about getting a visa or documents legalized, and we can send that on to i2Visa in Edinburgh as well. But yeah, I'd just like to say thanks very much for joining us, Abby and Joey. It's been great. And yeah, if you would like us to answer any more questions, just feel free to comment, even a week after or a month after, and we'll get back to you. That's not a problem at all. Okay, but yeah, thanks very much, Abby and Joey. It's been great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.